Hi, N.A.R.C troopers, and welcome. Today is June 20th, and I want to talk about a couple of things that are going on in the world today. Yeah, a couple of things going on. We have one of the most challenging times that we've ever had, with so much uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future, right? We have uncertainty because we have COVID and we don't have good treatments, we don't have vaccines, we don't really have safe ways to reopen things, to do the distancing and to keep people safe from getting this horrible, horrible thing. It's a global pandemic. And when you have something of this magnitude that is worldwide. It's not just here where you are, it's everywhere. And when you have something like that, I think it's our responsibility to try to do whatever we can do to try to keep each other safe and reduce those rates. Things like opening up businesses, going back to school. I get it. I know why we need to go back. I understand why we need to open up business, but not at the expense of human life, right? And so we've got all that going on. On top of that, you've got the whole injustice, racial inequality, income disparity, all of the things that people are just fed up with, and they are marching and protesting, and there's deaths, and there's like apparent lynchings that are happening. There's just craziness all around. Take all of that. I mean, the root causes of all of that stuff that they're talking about is something that requires a change of command at the helm. It requires a shift of thinking of lots of people, maybe 20-30% of people in this country. Maybe the way that we do policing, maybe the way that we enforce our laws and lead our country, and just all of that, So that's a thing. We have climate change, hurricane season coming. We have an economy that's teetering on the brink, and probably we're going to have a recession, if not a depression, that's going to last a while, right? Housing market may have the bottom fall out of that, like in 2008. That could be coming here pretty soon. A lot of economic woes, loss of jobs, loss of homes, loss of the ability to take care of yourself and your family. Elderly people are struggling. They don't have things to help them in place. I mean, it's just a terrible, terrible time. So let's think about that. That's what everybody's thinking about. But what if you're going through something horrific because you've been involved with a mentally disordered person, and there's been long period of intermittent reinforcement, good and bad, you've been trauma bonded, you've been addicted to this person because of your own issues that you have. So I recently heard there's two things that we can do to help ourselves, because we can't get out and do what we were doing. We can't go to our social support groups. We can't go to we can't go to any of these places where we were going to find that support. We're just kind of alone and with ourselves, which isn't the worst thing right now. Maybe that's a good thing that gives us the opportunity to heal and to do what we need to do. But one of the things that it suggested is to look at this whole thing that's happened to you, instead of being reactive to it and thinking, oh my gosh, I've been through something horrible and I've been abandoned and this person has no soul and no empathy and no guilt and no anything, and it's just like the worst thing that's ever happened. Instead of doing that, let's reframe it and think of it as like, wow, this is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for transformation and change, and it's an opportunity to finally deal with some of the crap that made us acceptable. Think about this, that you would have left long ago from your relationship with this person if you were a neurotypical, normal, average person who didn't have issues that needed to be dealt with, if you didn't have abandonment issues, attachment issues, addiction issues to people and to love and stuff like that, if you didn't have all of those issues, you would have left when you were violated the first time, when you were betrayed the first time, when you were played for the first time by your disordered person. You would have said, okay, I'm going to bounce. That's it. I'm not taking this. I have boundaries. I have healthy boundaries, and you can't do this to me and expect me to stay. I did. I stayed for 16 years, 15 years in my marriage, and I stayed when I many times, not just once or twice. There was a finally giant crescendo event that happened, but before that giant event, there had been other events before, and each time I stayed. I stayed because that's kind of what we do too much of the time, is that we stay. We stay when we should not stay. We don't leave when we should leave. And so let's reframe this and say, maybe this is a blessing. That this person is no longer with us. It's a blessing because they're teaching us something about ourselves. They're forcing us to look inward. They're forcing us to look inward to survive. And when we're forced to look inward to survive, we have to deal with some of those issues if we want to get through this. And by saying we have to deal with these issues, I'm saying, yeah, we're doing self-work. We're doing all the things that we can find to help ourselves, and we need to look at it as a good thing. Just refocus, reframe it, reboot, and don't think about the horror of what has happened to you. Think about the opportunity that it presents. The other thing I think that helps is just accepting that some things aren't meant to be, that you can't fix them, can't heal them. There's a degree of acceptance to just let them go, because they weren't what you thought. It was never real. It was never what they led you to believe. And any lie that they told about staying and loving you and all of that, maybe they even believed it at the time. But they're disordered. They don't think like you and I. They don't function like you and I. There are key components missing in them. They can justify anything. They will not take blame for anything. There are deficiencies, ethical bankruptcy, moral bankruptcy. There are deficient things in these people, in these disordered people. These deficiencies make it impossible for them to do what they need to do or be what they need to be. So we just need to take a look at that and say, wow, why are we trying to treat this as if they're normal people who made a choice to betray you, and to treat it as if they're normal people who chose not to love you? None of that's true. They're not capable of those things. They're never going to be capable of those things. They may lead a good life without those things, but they're not going to be able to be what you need them to be. And the whole time that you were with this person with the cluster B personality disorder, none of that was real. That wasn't love. They think love is just infatuation, like 6th grade stuff, very shallow emotional depth. They don't know what it is. They don't know that means fidelity, longevity. You stick it out, you problem solve, you work it out. I am so sick and tired of people saying, if this doesn't serve you anymore, if it doesn't serve your true self and the higher good of yourself, then you just have to bail and go find someone else, or go be by yourself and go in the desert and meditate, or go to Burning Man or whatever, but just leave. No, when you really love someone, you don't leave. You work it out. You compromise. You bend when they bend. You sway when they sway. It's a dance forever. You don't bail when the going gets rough. So their version of love is, how do you make me feel? How do I feel when I'm with you? You make me feel happy. You make me feel horny. You make me feel joyful. You make me feel whatever, you know? That's not love. Love is not just how you make somebody feel. It's not just the butterflies in the stomach. It's not just infatuation. Love is, you've got a partner dying of cancer and you give up everything to be there beside them to the very end, and it's horrible, and caretaking them is horrible, and watching them suffer and die is horrible, but you fucking do it. Even if it's not for your best higher self at the moment, you wait until you've done the right thing, the ethical thing, the moral thing, and you stood by that partner to the end. No matter what. They get Alzheimer's, you're there. They get in a car wreck, you're there. They get COVID and some permanent disability that follows COVID, you're there. You are there. Because that's what love is. So let's think about those two things. The world is in a crap shape. We're going through a period of transformation. You've got 9 planets in retrograde. Everything's topsy-turvy. You know, keep your hands in the vehicle. It's going to be a wild ride. Buckle up, buttercup, all that stuff. Yeah, that's happening. All kinds of stuff. Solar flares, whatever, you know. Collective consciousness transformation. The new order, the new life, the new consciousness is coming. However you want to frame this, it is a time. Things are going to change. They have to. Things can't go on the way they have. And, you know, we're going to have to adapt, just like we're going to have to adapt without our disordered person. So 2 things to remember. Well, 3. Number 1, this is a time of change and transformation. Hopefully, we're going to figure out how to get our shit together and do the transformation to make things better for ourselves and for the world. The way you do that, you acknowledge that your disordered person is not capable of being a complete person with real feelings and emotions, and they don't get it. They don't understand what love is, what real love is, what the kind of love is where you stay and you are loyal to that person to death. You ride that bitch to the end. No matter what, you ride it to the end. They can't. So just accept that. Accept it, that they have limitations, that you were with someone who was not well and who could not be a real person, and just accept it and let it go. And then number 2, embrace it as an opportunity to be better, to work on your inner wounds, your deficiencies, your own disorders and things that you have, that you need to face, probably carried on through childhood, that this is a time to work on those. Yeah, it is. And when you do, you will be whole and happy and capable of giving and receiving real love, real intimacy, fidelity, loyalty, longevity, all of it. You'll be capable of having that. Your disordered person will not ever have that. So let's look at it as an opportunity, and use it to our advantage. You know, for me, my ex left almost 1 year ago. Today's the 20th. He left on June 18th of last year. It's been a year. Worst year of my life. But I have a whole new perspective about this. And I talk about that in my articles, on my podcast, even on these video blogs, that I've learned so much this past year. And I've grown. I've endured. And, you know, I'm going to leverage this to do great things, because I want to fight to be okay. I don't want to give up. If I give up, then I'm an empty shell of a person who's hollow inside and dead inside. without hope, without feeling, and I'm just like them. Those disordered cluster B people, the narcissist, the sociopath, the psychopath. I become that ghost, that vampire. And I don't want that. I I don't deserve that. I'm real. I'm a real person. And I can do this. And you can too. So that's my message for today, right? Accept it for what it is. Look at reality square in the face and say, this person is disordered and cannot, it wasn't anything personal. They just can't be that. They just can't be real. And then, two, I'm going to seize it as an opportunity to work on myself and get well and get better and be healthy. Send out that positive vibrational feeling to the world. Yeah, to the world. And that I will attract what I put out, vibrationally speaking. Yeah, that's how that works. What is inside attracts what is outside. So I got to work on what's in here, because I don't want all the mess in here to attract another predator. Okay. I know these times are tough. Thank you for listening today. Follow me on my website, NARCtroopers.com. Go there, check out. I have articles, I have podcasts, I have video vlogs, and I have wisdom to share with you, to educate you and to help you get through this. I can educate you about what this is that you're dealing with, and I can give you tools to help you heal and to get on the right path and put something in front of you that you can start moving towards. Right? You got to have hope. You got to keep fighting. So, when you look at the world all around you, yes, buckle up. It's going to be rough for a while. And this journey back to wellness, that's rough too. But anything, you're not guaranteed life's always going to be easy. And sometimes the most valuable things are the hardest things to get. So, my prayers are with you, my hope, my love for you to heal, to be happy, to be whole. And let's pray for that for the whole world. And let's work for that. It's not enough just to say a few prayers. We have to do the work, due diligence, roll up the sleeves, do the freaking work that's required. Because there's a lot of work to be done here. So let's get busy. Let's get on it. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.